Though France's Interior Minister has announced the country's police have shot and killed an armed suspect in Rouen after the man attempted to burn down a local synagogue.
The suspect was carrying a knife and an iron bar when an officer fatally shot him. His identity, though, and the motive are currently unclear. So our Home and Security editor, Mark White, joins us now with the latest details. Mark, sounds like a terrifying attack. Is it, I mean, fairly obvious, I guess, but has it been identified yet as anti-Semitic?
I think it's clear that this was an anti-Semitic attack. He had targeted this synagogue with a petrol bomb, standing on a bin to get access to a window, threw that petrol bomb inside, caused a lot of damage to the synagogue itself. The police and fire service were alerted to reports of smoke billowing from the synagogue. When the police arrived on the scene, this suspect was still there on a wall outside the synagogue. Apparently, according to officials, had then tried to rush the police officers with this iron bar and a large knife. One of the police officers backed off initially, but then opened fire multiple times and shot this suspect dead. He's been congratulated, the officer concerned, by Gérald Darmanin, the Interior Ministry, for his prompt actions. And now what we will have is the slow-time investigation into exactly who this individual was, what his background, potential affiliations were, and of course whether there is any wider threat out there. We know there has been an increase in anti-Semitic attacks in France and indeed across Europe since the October 7th attacks last year. France itself is already on the highest state of terror alert, leading up to a very big year in France with the Olympics that are taking place in the summer. So some real concerns about the potential for terrorist incidents during the Olympic period. So this will do nothing to calm those concerns as the Interior Ministry and the police try to determine exactly who this individual was.
And in terms of obviously determining who he is or was he known to them as somebody who had any connections to terror, or did they literally know nothing about him? Was he just a rogue, in their view, a rogue terrorist, as it were?
So this incident happened at 6:50 in the morning local time, so about 4:50 in the morning UK time. They've had a few hours. I'm sure by now they will know who this individual is. You know, these people very rarely work in isolation. They're on a journey often in offending behaviour. So I'm sure that, you know, there would be fingerprint evidence that perhaps would identify him. People carry, of course, mobile phones and their wallets or whatever they do that allows the authorities to identify them. So then what happens is that the police then go to the home address linked to that individual, addresses linked to people that know him, relatives, associates and alike, as they gather together as much evidence as they can about just who this person was and whether there was a wider, more worrying motivation here that may involve others. France has the largest Jewish population in Europe. It's the third largest Jewish population in the world. Israel, of course, the United States, then France. So a very significant Jewish population in that country, very concerned about the uptick in anti-Semitic incidents. There are added security precautions outside a lot of synagogues. Clearly, in the middle of the night, the early hours of the morning, that security detail would not have been there as far as we know. But across Europe, synagogues have tightened up their security because of the real concerns that they have. Not just synagogues, of course, schools and other places where the Jewish population might attend.
I'm just reading here, Mark, as well. Apparently, Rouen, this place in France, is that how you pronounce it? Places of worship have come under attack there before. So 8 years ago, a priest was fatally stabbed there while leading a church service.
Yes, Rouen, and in France in general, is no stranger to attacks on religious institutions and individuals. I remember being down in Lyon after another attack there in which a priest was murdered. So it, you know, has seen its fair share of violence in France. Yeah. But as I say, we await to see exactly who this individual was. and what they can find out about him, I'm sure, will be released as the day progresses.
OK, Mark, thanks very much. And also, tributes to the police officer who intervenes there. We see it time and time again with these attacks. There's always a great story about a very brave policeman or policewoman. We saw it in Sydney during the shopping mall attack, that lone female copper who tackled the gunman. Was it a gunman in Sydney? I can't remember. By herself.
It was a knifeman in Sydney.
She shot him dead.
But what happens, of course, is often these individuals are looking to be martyred themselves. So they run forward. If they can kill or injure a policeman, they will do that. But at the very least, they certainly want to be shot themselves. So they got their wish.
Yeah.